What's going on, guys? It's your boy Afro Friday coming in once again, and today we're gonna talk about African History Month, since it's pretty much still African History Month. And before the month finished, I wanted to give my top five people that really influenced me, or top five people I feel need a little bit more attention than most people we hear about, during African History Month in general. They only tell you about the specific people that what makes them look good. Harriet Tubman, Martin Luther King, but there are other people that I feel don't really get that much attention. So I want to talk about that a lot and give you my 2 cents on that, okay, and how important they are to me. Now, Garrett Morgan, to start off, is actually a black inventor, and he patented a lot of things, about several, including to the sewing machine, including the I would say including the traffic signal, hair straightening products. And going back to the traffic light, although he wasn't the person that necessarily came up with the idea of traffic lights, he is the one that perfected the idea, perfected the traffic machine, the traffic light machine. So you got to give him credit for that. Okay, and not to mention, he's also responsible for creating something that we use today, especially in wars. Get the gas mask. The gas mask was created by Garrett Morgan. The I would say the precursor gas mask was used one time when there was a fire, and Garrett actually used it. It had a tube then, and it would get like a clean air from the bottom of the ground, and then so you can breathe heavily, which allowed you to go inside of a burning building to like save people. And Garrett actually used this to save a life. And the sad part was, he still didn't even want any money from it. He thought that it was more important than that. It was important for the use of like humanity. And of course, white people being the people that they are, not all white people, but we know who those white people are back in the day. Gave him no credit for it. And even I didn't know about it until like probably, let's say, freshman year in college, sophomore year probably. It's terrible. But on top of that, Garrett Morgan was responsible for creating making a huge impact on society as a whole because of his invention. So he deserves a lot of respect for that. The next person I want to talk about is Marcus Garvey. Marcus Garvey was responsible for creating the Pan-Africanist movement, essentially. Responsible for creating various black African organizations for the unity of black Americans and to help repatriate them back to Africa. He knew that at the end of the day, though, in order for black people to be strong, we can't just be strong in America. We have to be strong everywhere, whether you're in Africa, whether you were taking for the slaves in the Caribbean, whether you're Caribbean, whether you're in South America, or wherever. Black people need to be strong everywhere. So the Pan-Africanist movement, alright? And that you had to give him a lot of respect for. Okay, he really wasn't tolerable of any type of injustice, and he was willing to say things exactly the way it was, exactly the way it needed to be said. He sugarcoated nothing. And the next person I want to talk about, who's probably a little bit more controversial than all my other four people, is going to be Nat Turner. Nat Turner was responsible for a slave revolt in Southampton, Virginia. Now, this slave revolt was launched August 21st, 1831, and although it was crushed, I would say Nat Turner definitely did put in the minds of white people back then, like, hey, it's probably time to abolish slavery. I would say over 60 whites were killed, and whether you think he was a hero or not, whether you respect him or not, whether you love him or hate him, one thing needs to be acknowledged was that he was just doing to a group of people what was happening, or what they were doing to his people. And a revolution is a revolution. It's bloody. In the Haitian Revolution, at the end of the day, it was bloody as well. People were killed. And whether you love him or you hate him, you have to understand why he did what he did. Even in Florida, black children, boys were being used as alligator bait. And when you look at it from that perspective, you start to understand why the slave revolt in Southampton happened. He was fueled by a religion, and as far as he was concerned, it was just religious retribution. He was just trying to protect his people because nobody else was doing it. And it wasn't Nat's fault. He's just like, at the end of the blacks were being treated horribly, horrendously, and nobody was sticking up for them. So he felt like he was just doing what was right. And actually, this starts to bring up the mindset of thinking, okay, maybe we actually have to start thinking about abolishing slavery. Maybe it actually needs to happen. People will start to think about it even more. So, one way or another, the slave rebellion, being however bloody and however terrible, was necessary in a way. And the next person I want to talk about is going to be Sojourner Truth. Sojourner Truth was responsible for for being a huge abolitionist and spearhead of women's rights. And essentially, she wrote a speech called Ain't I a Woman?" And essentially, she talks about literally what I just simply stated, like talking about the oppression of blacks, especially like black women, and like the things that they had to go through. And she also helped recruit a lot of blacks into the Union Army to fight against the separatists. She was a very powerful woman that saved her child and fled from slavery, and then can stop fighting for black people. She deserves a lot of respect, and essentially, she definitely needs a lot of black women don't get the respect that they deserve for all the contribution that they have made for black people. That needs to change. Alright. And the last person I want to talk about is Muhammad Ali. Muhammad Ali was very controversial as well, especially in regards to the Vietnam War. Now, people were being transcripted to go into the war, but he was one of the people that was vocal and spoke out and said, "I'm not fighting for no. What am I going to fight in that war for? To kill a bunch of brown people that never called me the N-word, that never disrespected me, or never called me nigga? Excuse my language, but those are his exact words. They never called me that. Why should I go over to their country and kill them? What they do to me? They ain't do nothing to me. I should be in America fighting like you." And he's talking to white people when he said that, because at the time, like, we know how things were. And essentially, he was very brave for what he did, because he did at the time lose his championship belt. They took everything from him because all he was doing was essentially just fighting for what he believed in, what he thought was right. Alright? And I just hope that me, along with other people throughout the world, can be just as brave and just as strong as him. Because at the end of the day, he was probably one of the best heroes we ever had in history. Thank you for watching this video, guys. I really hope you've learned something new. Tell me what you thought about this video. Tell me about if there's any specific black inventors or black people you want to mention for this month in the comments below. Please like this video, subscribe, and give me your opinion, guys. Thank you, and please have a great day.